Well, we need to welcome you back, and we're still with the big story for today. And we're looking at the recent move by the federal government to deal with the issue of prudence and also accountability as it concerns governance. And we're talking about two major moves being instituted by the government. I'm talking about this very present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when yesterday he slashed that of foreign and trips, local trips, to about 60% as it concerns entourage. And not just only that, with the recent drilling of Norda and the suspension of the former Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Betaidu. But anyway, we'll look at all of this as we talk about prudence and accountability as it concerns governance. But still remember, we have no other person but the State PRO Committee for the Defense of Human Rights and also National Secretary, Human Rights Protection Congress, activist Kevin Ojomodo. But what we need to do now is go on a break, get a message from our sponsors, and we're talking about the Benetta Gas located right here in Ughelli, Warrior and environs. And when we come back, more discussion centered on the big story for today.
Better quality, if you talk gas matter, oh yeah, follow Benetta. Gas with the better quality, Benetta gas. That's where they full rich man to Benetta gas. Delivery brother na shopal, Benetta gas. Benetta gas, tomago mango, Benetta gas. Different type of gas cylinder, Benetta. I feel like that gas we go last you well, na Benetta gas. For gas matter, Benetta now do.
For gas matter and home delivery, make a wire Benetta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Benetta gas plant, the Etekwele of gas matters.
Well, anyway, that's how it is, and that's why we're really looking at the issues, especially as it concerns prudence and accountability in governance. But anyway, before we went on the break, we looked greatly at that very move instituted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday, dealing with the issue of trips as it concerns government agencies, ministries, and departments, and how he feels is the best way to also give back to Nigerians as much as they've asking them to do as it concerns the present economic woes we seem to be in. But anyway, we're still in the studio looking at all the issues. Yeah, before we went on the break, we talked greatly about the federal government. And you made mention of state government. And no surprise we need to go there. Because we were looking at, we were opportune to also have the reaction of no other person but the former governor of Kano State, Shakarau, when he said also the National Assembly should also take towards doing same, just like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did yesterday. Yes. And well, let's leave the central and come to the states, because also in the states, the issue of governance and how governors and their outrageous costs as it concerns governance is also at the forefront. The 17 new governors that came on board in 2023, they are being faced with $1.19 billion in debt incurred by their predecessor, and not only that, they are also piling up the debt with the with having so many SAs, SSAs, and so EAs now. And so let's look at that side also. How really important is it that state governors should also toe the path that the federal government has done as it concerns cutting down cost of governance? Because sometimes you see them with outrageous envoys. So we counted almost 15 in our last count of a state governor that were just going within the state, and it had such large numbers. So let's look at that also as we all try to deal with the issue of high cost of governance.
You know, it's imperative, and even in my social media angle, I made mention of it yesterday after commending the president for the slash. I also said state governors should follow suit, because you see, the cost of governance in Nigeria is too high. For us to get it right, we must cut it down, because you are not bringing anything to the table, and you are appointed as an SSA, as an SA, as an EA. At the end of the day, you just collect your salary. Like I said, they should be taken to the farms. If you're an SSA and SSA and SA and all of that, since if you are those sides, take them to the farms. They should produce what the state could sell to other states. We must.
But I doubt if some of the essays will be smiling with those your remarks and also suggestions.
You don't have to smile, but we have to talk to the power. That's why I'm an activist.
Well, go ahead.
We must talk to the power because where we are going to now is, first of all, food security. We must think towards that line. And food export. We can do data gari, data cassava, and all over the world we will export them.
And the essays will be busy holding cutlass to do that.
Doing that. Yes, go to farm, use herbicides to do fumigation, a lot of that. Because if you engage most of them even in governance, they don't even understand what governance entails. The ones that are necessary on security, they don't even understand what security is all about. Some are even want continue using in their various communities. Continue using all in the name of they've been given an ID card, and I says, no. It's time for you to think of how to make your environment safe for people to come and invest in it. So in all of this, I think the state governors, they don't even need to wait. I'm expecting them by this week or next week, they should sit together and say, okay, well, in the governance world, what do? Let's slash as well. Because the people are getting wiser.
Yeah.
When the master was saying, and I keep saying that those wanting to steal from government coffers are more than those that are already stealing already. Those are wanting to steal from government coffers, they're just waiting for the opportunity. The minute they get it, they strike. They will steal heavily because they know why. Probably before now, no justice. And without justice, you can't get anything.
No accountability. Okay, now talking about justice, let's now leave the issue of what Mr. President did yesterday. But still remain with an issue that happened yesterday. And we're still talking about accountability though. And let's talk about the 585 million naira graft and the Better Edu saga as now being called. We do know yesterday she was drilled by the Economic Financial Crime Commission for hours, and funny enough, her passport was also seized. And not just only that, the drama seems to be changing by the day. Yesterday, we learned that almost 3 bank directives, MDs, were also drilled on account of this. And not just only that, but also the Minister of Interior is also being questioned with the almost 480 million contract being awarded by her ministry to him. So I want your reaction as it concerns that very case, and what's your view to the federal government approach to it already?
First, I would say Better Edu, she has supported the youth because she seems to be one of the youngest minister, and we've always clamored for women inclusiveness in governance.
Yes.
And I must say, she has also been another Desiani, coming with a reckless spending, not having respect for our office and also the office of the president and all that. It shows just within a year. Imagine what she would have done if she had allowed to run a 4-year term. You said you took a flight to Kogi. Kogi does not have an airport. You see, when you need to steal because you feel nobody's watching, nobody's coming after you, that's what you get. How can you write that you took yourself and your staff to Kogi, you took a flight to Kogi airport, you took airport taxi for Kogi does not have an airport? It tells you how they think. When they get to government power, they become very selfish. And coming from a female gender, I'm so disappointed in her. Because we are coming for the youth to be included in governance. So if we have our youth behaving in this manner, how would they be given the mandate to run? Well, even a youth at her age now, as a lady, is doing this kind of thing as a minister. It should be a time for her to sell the youth, sell ideology to governance, sell our own ministry, and see how she can impact life. Rather, the people you are supposed to impact their life, you are also stealing from them. It's an aberration, and I'm very supported in our behavior. Having said that, I must give kudos to the president.
But I was almost asking you, how do you feel or look at the approach?
Suspending that was not enough.
Okay.
I was expecting that suspension, sacked, arrest, prosecuted, and charged to court immediately. Not just suspend her, and she was just driving the government Prado out of the villa. You sack her immediately and let her take her own personal vehicle out of that.
Yeah, but she's still in the process of investigation.
It's still, but she has been suspended. Leave every government materials in the office and come and answer your issue. What kind of protest spending is that? Our mothers are dying every day. We don't have a cancer center to take care of mothers. She, as a woman of breast cancer, is killing her mother. You can't think out of the box. You can't think of what can impact the people. And you are from the south. Now, how have she painted us there? It's an issue for concern. It's a national issue. And nothing was swept under the carpet. We are working with body language of Mr. President, or working with body language of the EFCC. Whatever that is swept under the carpet, they will know that definitely there's no accountability. They let them run the country like a banana republic, where everyone goes and take the banana, eat and consume. But they should remember that Judge Owen said the animal farm, the animals are equal, but not all of them are equal in some circumstances.
Okay, now let's still remain with that very ministry, the humanitarian ministry, because it's now looking as if it's not having a human face as it concerns many of these allegations of thievery, especially with that of the 37 billion naira that's also hovering around the head of Sadia Farouk, who was the former minister, as it concerns that. And many people are now calling for further probe as it concerns the ministry or the ministry itself. But Nigerians are also now turning out to look at the mystery behind these people taking this money. Because, yeah, let's look at it. It beats Nigerians hollow to understand somebody would sit down and transfer 585 million to a private account. If the whistleblower did not blow this out, nobody would have known.
Absolutely.
Farouk Sadia is being faced with 37 billion as it concerns that. But Nigerians are wondering, what's the mystery about them taking this money? How come we do not get credible information? It's only after such crime have been committed that we are now getting to know. So is it the structure itself, the way the ministries are being structured, that due diligence, monitoring the funds are not there? Or do you feel that the judiciary should be held accountable? Because even if at the end, most of these persons are being brought to the forefront of justice, at the end, most of them, will never get justice at the end of it. Yes. So it's just like you said, those that are waiting to steal are far more than those that have stolen, because at the end they feel nothing will come out of it. Yes. So let's understand where the problem lies, that somebody can put his or her hand deep into public purse, take that huge sum of money, and nobody will notice only after they've left government. Let's understand. So is it the structure, or is it the lack of the judicial process in dealing with these perpetrators?
I think first I would like to leave the judiciary out of it first.
Okay, let's look at the structure.
Let's take the structure first. The civil service, they are the main actors helping politicians to steal from the government coffers. Because all the details, all the write-ups is being done by the civil servant in those offices. They get them to do the write-up. You saw the breakdown of our 200 million naira for this, 500 million naira for this, going to private accounts, and nobody could investigate. But the minute an internet fraudster pays 5 million naira into an account, it's blocked. You see, they move immediately, they arrest. How come the bank CEO? Because this corruption is a cartel thing. Okay. Now, some of the bank CEOs, they help them to launder this money.
That's why we know 3 bank CEOs have presently been investigated as a consequence.
What is now the use of the BVN that they brought the other time? That you can channel all monies linked to an individual using the BVN template. You see, we keep bringing policies. I keep saying that policies, they are not stringent enough. You keep bringing policies, but the follow-up of the policies is a failure on the part of the government. I keep saying it. Until we see any of the past presidents coming to stand in the dock to testify, we cannot get headway. Now we saw the old money that was embezzled from the President Buhari's administration. To date, none of the ministers have been called to book.
Except Farouk.
And because they were having their feminist struggle between myself and Idu, that's why a lot of issues started popping out. We saw the money that was used to buy internet in the marketplace for the former minister. Nothing to write about it. I told that I said this that they work in the market, in trade session and all of that. Nothing to write about. That money has been. I was
asking if market women do have internet. Okay, well, let's leave market women out of it.
Now, at the end of the day, it is a cartel structure to defraud Nigerians of the taxpayers' money.
And you feel it starts with the civil service?
It starts with civil service because they are the ones that will help them do the write-up. It's because they can't do all of that. So when the civil servants will help them, so okay, this one will go for, this is how we're going to write it. Write it like this is how they've been doing it. And nobody supervises this. So it has to do with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu must rise to the occasion to hold them accountable. If the EFCC and ICPC cannot function, then it should be scrapped. we have a DSS that could from here, they go to Kenya and pick people. Why can't they forsake our financial institutions? These are financial crimes. And financial crimes are all over the world. They are very deadly crimes. Because the life of people is spent on those faults. You as a humanitarian ministry that's supposed to think first of the human faith, the human feeling. You were brought there to say, okay, the other time they said they gave 100 million Nigerians money during COVID. No, I don't know who saw those money. I don't know who that saw. Sometimes they say you bring an account number, they will go and collect this account number, collect the money through one person, and the other person feel before we get the money. This corruption has continued in these ministries. This is not humanitarian ministry. If you go to other ministries, you will mark what was happening there.
Okay, so now let's come to the issue of the judiciary and how they also feel they are also culpable in these, knowing that justice never comes at the end. And everybody will like, well, she did it before now, so why can't I?
You know, the judiciary sometimes, I want to put myself in their shoes. Now, because I've worked in the judiciary, so I now understand that there are rules of interpretation of every case that you bring before the judge. And now, some lawyers, they lack the ability to file their claims, to file their petitions rightly. And the other smart lawyer on the other hand, that's trying to defend the defendant or the accused, we are smart the plaintiff, looking at those gray areas they've made blunders. And then the judge, they don't decide issues with their emotions. They look at what was brought before them.
The facts.
As the ratio resident of the matter, if there's a party in the case, then they do the needful. But when they keep killing people that have stole billions, 200 million naira per bail condition, then the next generation will tell you, I will steal 5 billion. By the time they come here, I give a plea bargain for 500 million for bail, I will go scot-free. If they feel like all the billions that you embezzled, they granted him bail.
And then they filed the federal government 100 million for his human rights
violation. Someone that violated our
but anyway, he's still being investigated and also prosecuted. So it will not be right for us to jump into it.
It will say light of the day, because like you rightly said, if we live in a community and I see a professor who has gone to read in the four corners of the university, living a paupered life, a very poor state, and I see a young politician stealing money, living in mansion, I want to study the politician more and do what he's doing than going to the professors. Nigeria, we produce the bar of governance that people cannot steal from government coffers and nothing happens. And that is a major challenge. Look at Trump was brought before the New York court. He stood in dock and testified. That means the institutions, they have a very powerful institutions. Institutions are so weak. Judiciary is weak, the police is weak, EFC is weak, ICPC is weak, and you push them. Before they start working. But when they see that, they say, tell them, you're going to do party for one place now, they will just come with 10 buses, woo, back everybody, and say you are investigating. The ones you supposed financial crime that you're supposed to investigate through the government and private firm, you don't do that. This money they move from account to another account, and most banks, they don't report issues to EFC and ICPC. Because the Money Laundering Act is stated in most banks, but they don't report financial crimes. It means they know that they are getting a share from the money, they have a way, they'll just use it to spread in different accounts and start paying them out. They can do it daily, 12 to 12, they draw the money, and it's out of the system. So we must make our institutions very powerful, that when they work, the president should not interfere in their job.
Yeah.
But just interference sometimes make them say, back off, because the mandate is appointed by the president.
Okay, anyway, we do have an appointed time to talk around this, and I feel we need to go on a break now. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on prudence and accountability as it concerns governance, and also the recent move being made by this administration to bring about that. Let Nigerians get the belief that things are beginning to work. Let's go on a break.